And we are back, people, with our regular scheduled program. Just when we get a half-decent episode, this show goes back to its formula of terrible writing, cringe humor, and yes, awful acting from, you guessed it, the non-binary, soon-to-be diss track artist of the year, main character. But let's get into it, folks. Let's get into Acolyte, episode 6, titled Teach Corrupt. So at the end of last episode, we saw that Osha got force healed by Quimir, who is the Sith. Yes, he is titled a Sith now. And we saw May disguise herself as Osha and run away with Sol. So that's where we're at. Let's start with May and Sol. We see Sol try to contact the Jedi Temple, but he's very vague about what happened on this planet. You know, a lot of problems probably could have been solved if he just said, hey, there's a Sith here, but he decides not to. Sure, it would have broken so much lore, but that makes the most logical sense in this scene. But of course, the genius writers here at Lucasfilms and under Leslie Headland wrote it this way so the story can continue. May sneaks up on Sol somehow, and he doesn't censor. Guess he got force cock block or something. Do they have like a blue chew for like force people? Sol walks away and has a really emotional moment with himself. So for a scene like this, I tend to think it's better if you keep a single shot on the actor while they're performing and not cut away randomly to them smacking the table. It's just so jarring in my opinion and really takes me out of it. But, you know, at the end of the day, what do I know, right? May eventually finds Pip, the little robot Osha has, and gives it the old reboot.
What if I reset you to factory settings?
I wish they just didn't do the reset you do with your iPhone. This is supposed to be a galaxy far, far away, not your local Apple store, people. I mean, at the very least, don't call it a factory reset. This scene just tells me that the showrunners don't care enough to come up with something creative for little stuff like this. If this was George Lucas, he would definitely come in and create a new term just for something as small as resetting a robot. Because that's the creative mind of George Lucas. Well, then again, he did create jizz in replacement of jazz. But still, the Jedi in Coruscant have received Sol's message, so they send out their top people to go investigate. That is Leslie Headland's wife, who is a terrible actress, and Jedi Master Soy Boy. I mean, let's be for real here. You know, they talk about diversity in the cast and the crew, but there's a body diversity in the show as well. In the second episode, we get to see, you know, a bigger Jedi. And now we get to see a skinny Jedi. Next, all we need is a Jedi who works out in the gym and is completely shredded. Moving forward, May tries to sabotage the ship, but is stopped by Basil doing a dumb dance. Oh, Jesus Christ, what am I looking at here? Whoa, 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 what the fuck, Disney? I thought this was a kid's show. But after finishing this episode, you'll see that this scene makes more sense because I feel like this episode is Disney's, how do I say this? This episode might put Disney in horny jail. Sol figures out May's very clever disguise and ties her up and tells her he needs to discuss some things. Didn't really take Sol as that type of character, but you know what? I'm not surprised because in this show, characters just turn face and turn heel out of nowhere. They slip away just as the top Jedi investigators get there. They go on the planet and there's more walking and staring in the woods. This needs to stop, okay? I am sick and tired of this planet and people going to it, walking and staring at the woods. I'm going to jump off a bridge if they go back to this planet. The investigators look around, they find all the Jedi and see a maybe dead Jackie. Still don't know. I'm just saying, I've seen people get stabbed in Star Wars before and they've come back later in the season. As they are evaluating the situation, the same Moss that attacked the Jedi before attacked them. But don't worry, Green Woman Jedi has a whip lightsaber. Jeez, a whip lightsaber, Disney. You're really pushing the limits here. But, let me tell you, it gets worse. The horniness level is about to go up dramatically. Let's talk about Unknown Island, or should I say, Love Island. Actually, No, it's more like Epstein Island at this point. Osha wakes up to realize she's been taken by the Sith Quimir. She finds him, follows him, and watches him skinny dip. She watches him get naked and go into a pool of water. Now, it's confirmed that all of this, making Quimir sexy, ripped, and buff, is part of the story. You know, they want to sexualize this Sith because the dark side, it's kind of sexy. I mean, have you seen the Sith? Look at Emperor Palpatine or Kylo Ren. Just exceptional figures of the female gaze. Osha eventually picks up his lightsaber and confronts him in the nude. You know, this scene really feels like it's written based off personal experience. Do you know a thing about innocent women being confronted by a naked man with their lightsaber out, Leslie? Do you? Do you know a thing or two about that? The whole Osha Quimir storyline is him basically trying to seduce her to the dark side. Apart from the obvious sexual tension, there really is nothing that happens, which sucks, because that means there's a lot of dialogue, which for one actor is fine, and they try to work with what they can, but for the main actress, it gets way worse. You see, this show's biggest weakness is its dialogue, and when they rely heavily on that, this show tanks dramatically. And they do this with almost every single episode. And the one episode they didn't rely on dialogue and had a lot of action was probably the best episode so far. But I will give credit to the actor who plays Quimir because he is really working hard. And I really think he and Soul are the top performers in the show and are doing the best they can here. For the ending of this episode, Leslie and the crew thought to themselves, hey, let's cook with this one. Quimir leaves his helmet on the table and it has the ability to let you focus more with the Force. He invites Osha to put it on, and well, she caves in. Because when a powerful man tells you to do something, you do it. Right, Leslie? Right? So Osha puts it on, and it's just an almost blacked out screen with two little eye holes, and we just hear heavy breathing. Alright guys, come on, I think this is enough evidence to put Disney in Horny jail at this point. But what a dumbass ending. They really thought they had something. They thought this was going to be so cool and so powerful, but it just comes off as hilarious and just kind of cringe. I just don't have enough connection with this character, nor do I care about this main character at all. And that is sad, considering this is the 6th episode in the series so far. This episode is a huge downgrade from last week's episode. The only thing that really went up in this episode is the sexual tension and the horniness. I think this week really kind of helps with the theory that this is Leslie Headland's fan fiction she wrote years ago. I'm almost convinced that that's what's going on here. She just had this written in her journal somewhere. And of course, she's gonna write down what she knows about. Powerful men seducing innocent women. Right, Leslie? That's what you know about. You know, episode 5 kind of veered away from that terrible dialogue and kind of gave us more action. But this episode just went right back on the tracks of awfulness and let the characters talk throughout the whole episode, which is a big mistake. But of course, at the end of the day, I do want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of the Acolyte episode 6? Let me know down in the comments below. Also be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.